Wondering how to use the Willow Go? Then stick around in this video. I'm going to walk you through the different components that make up the Willow Go assembly, as well as how to use the Willow Go wearable breast pump. So let's get started and take a look at the different components that make up this wearable breast pump. So to start with, let's disassemble it, and we can then go through all the different parts. Okay, so let's take a look. First, you have your pump motor. This is the brains of your pump. Now, this part does not need to be washed and cleaned. If you get any water in this, you will likely damage and break your pump. Okay, you have your collection cup. Now, this is where your breast milk will collect. You have your duckbill valve. You have the collection container backing, have your pouring spout, your diaphragm, and lastly, your flange. So how does this all go back together? Well, let's start by attaching your duckbill valve to the backing of your collection container. You can see here that there is a notch gap to fit in with that notch there. So we simply press that together after lining it up. Make sure that it's on nice and firm. Always want to make sure that your seals are nice and firm. Having this loose or potentially falling off while you're pumping will severely impact your pumping session and the suction output. So make sure your seals are nice and together. Now we're going to press the backing onto the collection container. It lines up here. Now this is actually quite nice and firm. So you press that in place. Next, we are going to want to attach our diaphragm to our pump motor. Now this is only on one side, and the side you can tell is it has these little notches at the back that these line up with. So we push this all the way through. You can see that the pump motor bit sits in here. So we're going to push this all the way through, make sure it's nice and lined up, and then that is ready to go. We also want to make sure we attach our pouring spout back on. So we just need to loop this over the collection cup and then make sure it's nice and in place, and then push that down. Okay, next we're going to attach our pump motor to the collection cup. Now you can see here that there are some locking mechanisms. There are buttons on the side, so you need to press those and line them up, and then this should click into place. That is not lined up quite properly. There you go. It is now nice and secure. Give it a little tug to make sure that you have it nice and firm in place. And then lastly, you have your flange. This only goes on the one way. You simply line that up and push that in nice and firm. And then your pump is ready to go. Now I will start by saying the Willow Go is able to be operated via an app. However, that app is only available in the USA and Canada. So if you are outside of those regions, you are not going to be able to use the Willow app and are only going to be able to use the pump controls manually. I am outside of that region. I'm in Australia, if you can't tell by the accent. So unfortunately, I can't show you how to use the Willow Go app. I will link to the Willow app user guide produced by Willow, so you can go through and have a look on how to use that separately. In the meantime, what I can show you is how to use the pump controls. So firstly, you have your power button. This is for turning your pump on and off. you also have your mode button, and this is for switching between the two modes. You have a stimulation, which are your short suctions for initiating your letdown, and then your longer expression mode, and these suctions are longer for drawing out your breast milk. So you can switch between those two by pressing the mode button, and then you can increase and decrease your suction levels by pressing the plus or minus. Now on the stimulation mode, so the letdown mode, there are only 6 stimulation levels, and then on the expression there are 9 different suction levels, so something to keep note of. And then let's turn this on. You can see that there is a light here. Now this is your battery level, so it will be green when there's enough for 2 sessions, orange when there's enough just for 1 session, and red when it is low battery. So you can hear this running. These are the short, fast suctions. So this is my stimulation mode. Unfortunately, without the app, there's no way of knowing what mode that you are in. So you're going to need to listen to your pump to determine. So I've just switched this over to the expression mode, and you can really hear the difference between these two. So these are the longer suctions. Now, in terms of suction level, again, frustrates me a bit at the moment with the lack of technology on a pump itself. However, we will move past that. My recommendation is either going right up to the top or right up to the bottom with the clicks to get to the highest suction level, and then count down depending on what level that you want to get to. So if you want to get to 5, I've currently got this set at 9. Remember, there's 9 suction levels in the expression, so I count down 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this should have me on level 5 suction. Or you can do the opposite and go all the way down to the bottom and then count your way up. So if you're not using this with the app, it is a little bit frustrating. However, we can still make do. Okay, so once you have finished your pumping session, simply turn your pump off, and we're going to want to disassemble it. So again, remove all the parts, and we are going to want to clean all of these. You can do that a number of ways. It is top rack safe for your dishwasher. You can use warm soapy water and give them a rinse. But you're going to want to clean these after every session, and then once within a 24-hour period, you are going to want to sterilize these. Now, Willow recommend boiling only, so please keep that in mind. If you do choose to use a sterilizer, and I know that some mums do, it's one of the biggest questions I always get asked, can I use this pump with a sterilizer? The answer from Willow is no. However, that doesn't stop everybody. Just keep in mind, try use it on the lowest of temperature settings. Boiling point is 100 degrees Celsius. So the closest to that you can get to sterilize your pump. And just be mindful that you may cause damage. Your parts might become warped or discolored. So you may end up needing to replace them if you do choose to use a sterilizer and it damages them. They won't be under warranty, given Willow do not recommend it. So something to keep in mind, that is, they don't recommend a steam sterilizer or a microwave. However, some mums have successfully used it without any issues. So take that how you will. Okay, so one of the other parts that we need to talk about is your flange sizing. Now this is a 24mm flange. This may or may not suit you. You are going to, especially if you're first time pumping, need to measure your flange size. Now, one thing I love about Willow is that they do supply, let's go to the English version, a flange sizing chart, or nipple sizing chart. So you can use this to determine your nipple size. Keep in note that this does also change depending where you're at on your journey postpartum. So Just because you might start off as a 17mm does not mean that your nipple size will not change as you are continuing your pumping journey. So it is something to regularly come back and check to make sure that you are having the right flange size. And one of the big telltales is it's uncomfortable while you are pumping, you're not getting great output, it's damaging your nipple. All of these things can happen when you have incorrect flange sizing. So the way that we can fix that is either buy a larger flange size if the 24 is not suitable, or use a flange insert. Now this one did not come with the Willow Go, did not include any smaller flange inserts. You will need to purchase those separately, but just to demonstrate how these work, you take your smaller flange insert, say this is a 17mm, and it simply slots into your flange and sits nice and flat against the surface, and that then reduces your flange tunnel size down to the diameter of the flange insert. Also needs to be removed for cleaning, so something to keep in mind. When we're lining up our flange, it's a little bit hard to see with the Willow Go because it's not transparent, but you are going to want to line your nipple up centrally so it can move nice and freely in and out. So imagine my hands to breast, you line your nipple up centrally. During your pumping session, away you go. Once you are finished, you want to go to lean forward slightly and break the seal with a finger so you're not ripping your nipple off as you're removing the pump. Remember, it's all based around suction, so we're going to want to break that seal first and then remove our pump. And then we cannot store our collected milk in the collection cup. We are going to need to remove it, and that's where the pouring spout comes into play. We can remove the pouring spout lid and then simply pour this into our preferred collection, storage container. And that's about it. So if you have any questions on using your Willow Go, please feel free to ask and I'll do my very best to answer, but I hope this video helps. Cheers.